Hey guys, welcome back to Part Out, where we talk about off-road parts and we go hit the trails and go wheeling. Today's gonna be a fun episode because we're doing a mix of the old school and the new school. And what I mean by that is we have this awesome Jeep Cherokee Chief built by the guys over at Ken's Car Care. This thing is running on full 1-ton axles, 40-inch tires, and plenty of BDS suspension builder parts to make it all work. Now over here, we've got the new school stuff. We've got 3 JKUs built by the guys over at Buck's 4x4. The first one here is running a JKS coilover conversion system. Behind it we have 2 Jeeps, one of them running a BDS long arm system as well as a standard BDS kit. Now we're gonna go hit this trail. We're gonna see what these Jeeps can do. Moab, Utah, an American desert wonderland. It's full of beautiful landscapes and wildlife around every corner. After airing down, we set out and hit the trail known as Steel Bender. This trail is full of scenic views and plenty of obstacles to test our Jeeps. Leading the way is Ken in his 1979 Jeep Cherokee Chief. This thing is a monster sitting on 1-ton full-width axles with 513 gearing from Revolution Gear and Axle. 40-inch Mickey Thompson Baja MTZ tires being steered by some Steer Smarts 1.5-ton steering with Hydro Assist. Now, as hard as it is to believe, the factory bumper from 1979 didn't accommodate a worn winch for whatever reason. A custom fabricated JCR front bumper did just the trick, with some nice chrome polish finish to retain some of that retro appeal. The suspension has a lot of fabricated parts and pieces, and this Jeep features some BDS valved Fox shocks and leaf springs. Right behind Ken was Jeff Buck and his hard-to-miss 2017 SEMA build. This thing is loaded with parts. We are looking at a Jeep with a JKS coilover conversion that enables you to tune the ride performance however you need. There's lightweight aluminum Genrite armor, Cargo Master roof rack, beautiful Raceline Monster beadlocks with 40-inch X-Comp tires wrapped around them. Now the top on this Jeep was actually upgraded to the Best Top Trek Top Pro Glide, which gets rid of all those pesky zippers that all the Jeep owners absolutely hate. When you beef up a Jeep like this, you're going to want more power, and that's why Jeff souped up this Pentastar V6 with a Sprintex Stage 3 supercharger. Having that extra power isn't helpful without proper gearing to put the power down. Inside the TerraFlex axle housings are 488 Yukon gears and axle shafts. And if the trail gets rough out there, this Jeep's equipped with a Warn VR10S winch. Alright guys, so we came to our first obstacle here. It's fairly steep, probably hard to see on the camera, but this is I'm about 6'3", and this ledge right here, is coming up to about here on me. So I mean, these Jeeps have some pretty tough work ahead of them, but we're gonna go ahead and get out there and do it. Well, of course Jeff is going to make this one look easy, having locked front and rear axles, and also airing down the tires to increase his footprint on the rocks. The other 2 Jeeps followed the same line and made their way to the top. Here's Dave's Jeep. It's a 2013 Rubicon running a BDS suspension long arm kit. Typically, when you hear the phrase long arm kit, you're expecting to see some huge monster rig or buggy kind of setup. But that's not the case here. This Jeep is set up for rock crawling. By keeping the ride height low, Dave is actually able to keep a low center of gravity for off-camber situations like, I don't know, rock crawling. With having the long arm kit on there, this Jeep has all the droop travel you could ever want. Suspension droop or down travel is your biggest friend when rock crawling. Sure, you'll have less breakover angle going this route, but you'll always have tires on the ground getting traction. From a daily driver's standpoint, this Jeep is set up perfect for Dave and his family to easily get in and out of this Jeep by having a lower ride height.
She's an old Jeep. She'll make noises going everywhere.
Just as we thought things were chugging along, disaster struck.
Stop, it's your fan. Yeah. Oh, no. All right, well, transfer case is making some really bad noises, so we gotta take her off the trail. It's been performing very well this week, considering it had been sitting for 15 years, and we resurrected her, got her going, so we're gonna throw her back on the trailer, go back to Michigan, fix it all up, and keep on wheeling.
It's always a roll of the dice when you're wheeling an old restored Jeep. Now while Ken links up with a team at the shop to get the fan, engine, and transfer case looked over, we continued on our way with our Moab adventure. Loving it?
Best trail of the day. It's just, this is my first time I've still been here, and it's been a fun trail. Jeeps are holding up well. We've got to use our suspensions. We've got the JKS coilover kit. Very, very happy with it. Lots and lots of flex. We're running a Warren Xeon 10S winch on here with all the Genride aluminum. We like to run the Genride aluminum because it's light, so we keep our weight off. Keep our weight down low and keep it light up on top.
As we kept going down Steelbender, we managed to run into a traffic jam out in the middle of the desert. Go figure, right? That didn't bother us, however. We found a bypass and kept on going. About a mile into the bypass, we quickly found out why it was the road less traveled as we started pulling cable on our Warren winches. Warren is a highly reliable brand to have out on the trail because your winch is your last resort to get your rig through the trail, and you probably want that to work every single time. For our own safety, we were running synthetic rope and Factor 55 flat links to have a solid connection between our two tow points.
We build a lot of JKs just to get out and do stuff like this, so we can bring our family. I mean, I've got my entire family with me today, and we've got room. We've been able to run this trail.
We were pretty relieved to get through all the uphill sections of the trail, but there's that saying, what comes up must go down.
So we are coming down to our last obstacle for the day. As you can see, we got ourselves quite a good drop here. Now, as I try to make my way down, you can see we've got ourselves one hefty drop down. So Jeff here is going to be our spotter, and he's going to make sure we got all these Jeeps down safely, and we're going to book it home.
Remember, if you plan on spotting someone, just know that they are trusting your judgment calls to keep them from damaging their rig, or even worse, themselves. All right, guys, so we're wrapping up here for the day. Wanted to give a special thanks to Jeff here from Bucks. All the Jeeps performed flawlessly. We had a few minor setbacks with some camera technical difficulties. Not to mention, you know, Ken having some issues with the transfer case, but we're gonna wrap it up here for the day. It's a gorgeous day out here at Moab, Utah. We're gonna go link back up with Ken's Car Care and see what's going on with their Jeep, but hey, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Okay guys, so not to leave you on a cliffhanger with whatever happened with the Cherokee Chief, but we've linked back up with Ken's Car Care. Here's Ken right here. Ken, fill us in with what's going on.
Well, it's been a little complicated, but we figured out what was going on. What would happen all at once is the motor would shift, and the terrible, terrible noise that we'd hear in low range, heavy on the rocks, we thought was inside the transfer case. It was actually my fan destroying my fan shroud. So it all kind of added up together. The fan shroud got destroyed, ripped off into one of my belts, so I lost power steering. And that wasn't, I mean, I can deal without power steering. It is what it is.
You're a man.
Yeah, we deal with it. We got a little stronger. Mm-hmm. But what would happen is in 4 low, heavy on the throttle, hard on the rocks, not like driving around in 4 low is fine. But heavy on the rocks, when we flexed it out, I would hear a bam, a lot of noise, and then poof, we'd go rolling down a very steep obstacle, and that was kind of exciting, I guess we'll say. And because I'd be in neutral. Well, what we figured out what was actually happening, it had nothing to do with transfer case, nothing to really do with the driveline itself. The body flexes enough, and it was throwing my transmission linkage into neutral. And so I drove out of the trail, and I had to go back up some really steep, nasty obstacles with no power steering. But I made them fine, because all I did is, what I finally did was I was holding it right down, and I held my shift linkage into gear so it couldn't pop out. And we were hammering through a lot of obstacles on the way out of the trail. Now it's been a long week of fixing this thing, and I'm to the point I think we're just gonna throw it on the trailer. And I say that now, we'll probably end up fixing it and taking it back on the trail to break it again, because
we're gonna do that.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a long drive back to Michigan, and if this thing's going on the trailer, we're using the winch. It ain't gonna be driving on its own, so we're gonna keep playing with it.